what got you into education? How long have you been teaching, training, writing books?
Yeah, so that's been since the late 1980s. So again, close to 30 years on that aspect of it as well. And that really kind of accidentally came about. I don't know how massage education has evolved during that time frame where you are in Australia, but for us, it's certainly at that time in the late 80s and early 90s, there weren't really any teacher training programs in the massage schools. And oftentimes it was just, well, you'd been on the staff for a while and maybe you were helping out in some classes. So you got thrown into the classroom with no training whatsoever and no really guidance about how to do good, effective training activities. But, for me at that time, I was scared and nervous. This is kind of funny. Background behind this is I have always appeared to be a lot younger than I am. And when I started teaching, I was in my, mid to late 20s, I think it was, but I looked like I was like 17. I mean, I really looked like a little kid. And
you still do, Whitney.
And so, I would walk into the classroom with a lot of these students who are often second, career changer people who've been in their, mid 30s, 40s or 50s or something like that and coming into a new career. And I thought, how am I ever going to get respect from these people? And I thought, the only way that I will really get respect is if I know what I'm doing backwards and forwards, upside down and inside out really, really well. So I just started studying the content stuff like crazy. And I was teaching, massage treatment things at that time. But I got very interested in the facets of education in addition to all the things that I was learning about massage. And I am a learning geek, and I love biomechanics and orthopedics and kinesiology and all that really heavy science stuff. But I also really, really love education. And so often, this is something that was an experience for me by taking a lot of classes with a lot of people who were the chief gurus in our field over the years. And with many of them, I thought, this person is really brilliant and they do fantastic work, and they're a really bad teacher. And I thought, why is that the case? And recognize that teaching in and of itself is really an art and a skill. And just because you've been in the clinic a long time or been around doing this a long time doesn't mean you're a good teacher. And so I started studying a lot about learning theory, instructional design, learning science, neuroscience, those things that are all part and parcel of what makes education work and what makes good training work. And I really started bringing those things into both the classroom and then a number of years later when I got into online education, looking at this from a totally different perspective through the whole lens of multimedia learning theory and how people learn online, which is very different from how they learn in the classroom. And once again, began to look at how can we best teach the people in our profession through these different mediums, because teaching skill makes a big difference in how well people get things out of what they do through our classroom and learning experiences.